Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy 2022. Can't believe it's a new year already. All right, I figured, you know, this is, I guess, a lot of year where there's a lot of, I guess, milestones in terms of certain films. And I figured one particular film that I thought would be interesting to bring about is the 2002 Sam Raimi Spider-Man, which I can't believe, it's 20 years old already. I'm like, where does the time go for that particular one? I'm like, remember I was like 14 at the time when I saw the Spider-Man movie, and it was kind of cool to see, the live action version of Spider-Man on the big screen, and what a treat it was. And of course, Tobey Maguire was the first person to portray Peter Parker, and of course, as many people know, Peter gets, he's a high school student, Midtown High School, and then of course he gets bitten by the a genetically enhanced spider, which gives him his abilities, and how he becomes Peter Parker. And of course, he ends up becoming Spider-Man because of the death of his uncle, of Uncle Ben, a tragedy which he could have, in a sense, prevented. But then, of course, if that would have happened, it wouldn't be the Spider-Man as we know. And of course, one of the biggest mantras from the film, of course, is with great power comes great responsibility. And of course, it introduces Mary Jane Watson, and Harry Osborn, and of course Aunt May, and of course Norman Osborn, who, of course, many people may know as the Green Goblin and the father of Harry. I mean, in terms of how the film holds up, 20 years later, I mean, maybe the small parts of it that feel like a little dated, but it's still nonetheless a joy to watch, particularly, seeing Elizabeth Banks, as Betty Brant before, she became more well known and things like that. And of course, J.K. Simmons is Jonah Jameson, who was really fantastic in that particular role. So, I mean, it's just amazing how far Spider-Man has come in nearly 20 years. And of course, if it wasn't for, Sam Raimi and his version of Spider-Man, then you wouldn't have the MCU version of Spider-Man. Of course, the Amazing Spider-Man is as well. So I'm just curious to hear what people think about Spider-Man, 20 years later. Curious to see what people, think about the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and whether they think the film still holds up, or they feel certain parts of it feel a little dated, or other parts of that film that they liked or didn't like. It'd be interesting to see what people have to say, about this film. Okay, everyone, thanks again.